right, welcome to Orion, or actually the 3D model of Orion that we built here in Joao Alves's office at the Orion Unplugged meeting in July of 2015 in Vienna. We have two Orion experts, Joao and John Bally over here, who are going to give us a tour of the major features of Orion. So, Joao, maybe you could start by showing us the stars that we're familiar with so we can orient ourselves from the front view. Can you point?
So the stars are the fluffy balls, the blue ones, and if you align,
I got it.
you got it. So then you have your Orion constellation right there, and then the three sisters in the middle.
Got it.
That is the supergiants in Orion that you can recognize naked eye.
And they're not all at the same distance, right? So if I go over here, we can see that some of them are very much in the foreground and some very much in the background. And we should mention that this model is only relatively to scale, not actually to scale. Okay, so John, can you tell us about the big shells and the molecular clouds and all that?
Right, so the red feature here is Barnard's Loop, which is an H-alpha structure which traces apparently a relatively young 300,000-year-old supernova remnant. It's inside the Orion superbubble. In the background there's the Orion A molecular cloud, a 50,000 solar mass cloud, which spawned the Orion Nebula in recent times, namely last million years. The Orion Nebula is the little sphere, and the integral shaped filament is the green structure going into the red structure. The colors here are meant to show the relative Doppler velocity. The southern part is blue shifted compared to the northern part. Just above the integral shaped filament, we have the NGC 1977 region, and then the supergiant in the middle of the 1b subgroup. And what we've learned at this meeting from Eddie Schaffley is that there is a giant ring of dust shown in the brown here, of which the Orion A cloud and the Orion B cloud in the north, northwest of Orion, are apparently the most massive parts of a dust ring.
Perfect. And what are these red and blue things that we see throughout the cloud?
So we know that the Orion A and B clouds are chock full of bipolar outflows, and this shows what I think is the largest outflow known to date, which terminates in the HH131 shock, about 2 degrees south of the LIN 1641 North Star Cluster, which we think is the source of this outflow. And the redshifted flow disappears behind the cloud, although we see optical shocks when we're looking off the cloud edges. Actually, this lobe is fairly close to Orion Nebula, so it's not quite
we
the
don't
scale.
have it quite right, almost. So this little sphere here is the Orion
some of
Nebula.
those shocks are just outside the ionization front of the Orion Nebula.
Perfect. And Joao, what are these little bead-like things on the filaments and buried that we can't even see inside the cloud?
I think this is the integral shaped filament, and it's bursting with stars.
Protostars. Those are all
Protostars and outflows.
They're red to represent that actually they're somewhat embedded.
Right.
Yes, and young.
Right. So one thing that is not in this model yet
Ooh, the stars are moving.
is and it was discussed at this meeting. So what's missing here is the foreground population
Of stars.
Of stars that will be between the ages of right there and up to somewhere Bellatrix here. So there's an older population, 10 million years, somewhere here, and perhaps some of us think there's a gradient almost along line of sight, although this is completely new, it's from this meeting. It was discussed heavily that we have some kind of train of blue stars coming from this region where the supergiants are just the oldest ones.
Got it.
And all the other ones are in between. Now this is speculation at the
Let
moment.
me take the picture from over here. So show me again where they would go.
They would go somewhere from, so this is the belt, right, so from, there you go, from here, the most recent generation of stars, down across from somewhere like here.
Perfect.
It's the oldest generation.
The oldest generation. Now, this is again speculation.
Yes.
And in a year or two with Gaia data, this will be confirmed or not.
Perfect. And what's that shiny stuff in the background supposed to represent?
Well, that's a cosmic microwave background in all the background galaxies.
Got it. Perfect. So this is clearly looking from the front. And if miraculously we could look from behind, we would see Joao and John through Orion. Thank you very, very much. Bye.